Amazing. Good morning, everyone. As promised, this is the Wednesday edition of Weather Where You Are, which is something we do on our streaming platforms 3 times a week, where we take you all over what's going on in weather across the world, across the country. But today, the focus is here right at home because there is a heightened threat for severe weather this afternoon. One of the greatest threats we've seen all year, I believe, for severe weather. Okay, so I kind of want to get into the nitty gritty. I am live streaming this also on my page, and I will try to go back through and answer you guys' questions. This is the latest. Again, this is 11:24 a.m. And this is what we're seeing develop, okay? So I'm going to take our graphics full. Here is a look at the current situation. We got a stationary front down to our south. Look across the southeast. You see that there's like rounds of different thunderstorms. There's one in Alabama, there's one back in Mississippi, there's one in Arkansas. These are basically clusters of storms that are going to work their way down through the south in the coming days. The yellow box that you see in Arkansas and Mississippi, that is a severe thunderstorm watch. And there's an actual couple of severe thunderstorm warnings right now out in northern Alabama. These storms, guys, have a lot of hail embedded within them. And they are headed for North Georgia. We're measuring half-dollar sized hail in these storms, okay? And that is actually going to be one of the greatest threats. I think probably the greatest threat as these storms arrive later today is large hail. So you want to take that into consideration as well as we head through the day. The Storm Prediction Center does have these areas to our south, so southwest Georgia and parts of southern Alabama, a good portion of southern Mississippi, under a level 4 out of 5 risk for severe weather. That is a pretty high level. They only issue that level 4 risk a few times a year. So that just tells you that they are expecting a severe weather outbreak to our south. You can see Columbus is included in that level 4. LaGrange to Macon, so central Georgia, is under a level 3, so a moderate risk for severe weather. And here in North Georgia, we're under a level 2 risk for severe weather. However, take that with a grain of salt, okay? Because as we're getting model data in, I do still think that Metro Atlanta could see very strong storms this afternoon. I think the atmosphere is very ripe for severe weather. So essentially, we're going to see scattered storms widespread through the afternoon with damaging winds and hail. Can't rule out isolated tornadoes as well. So here's a look at the current radar. You can see it's just scattered rain. If you have anything that you need to do over the next hour, you should be good to go. It's not going to be too bad out there. It's later on this afternoon that the storms move through between 3 to 6 p.m. That's when you need to have your guard up. That's when we could see these strong to severe storms. We'll get a little break this evening. 7, 8, 9 p.m. look dry, and then another round of thunder showers overnight tonight. So this is a high-res model, guys. It's very accurate. It updates every hour, okay? So we're getting every hour an update on what the model thinks is going to happen. I want you to look at this very closely. This is a snapshot of 4 p.m. You see these clusters of storms with the pink and even some of the white down towards LaGrange back into Alabama. That is very large hail. I would say on the order of golf ball sized hail. So I definitely think Troup County, Meriwether County, you need to be on high alert today for damaging hail. If you can go ahead and you have a car and you can move it under or indoors under something covered, better safe than sorry, okay? That's going to be the main risk today. 4 p.m. for Metro Atlanta, it looks rainy. Doesn't look as stormy here in the city. But here's a snapshot of 5 p.m. Pretty good cell moving through Rome. Pretty good cell over near Augusta. Definitely the strongest cluster of cells down from Spalding County to Thomaston to Macon, so central Georgia, south of Atlanta. That's where the threat will be the highest for severe weather. And then after 7 p.m., we actually dry out. So if you do have evening plans, it doesn't look too bad. Now, we could see downbursts, which is basically these storms as the rain falls out. That can create a downdraft that can create really damaging winds. I'm seeing a high potential for that within these storms. So there's about a 15% chance of damaging winds in Metro Atlanta, but that increases to 30% in LaGrange, Meriwether County, Pike Lamar, Upson County as well. In addition to that, there's a low-end risk for tornadoes. The tornado risk is not high. You can see it's essentially zero from Atlanta to the north. It is pretty moderate from LaGrange to Macon, only a 5% chance of a tornado. But south of us, you see this hatched area from Columbus down through Albany, Georgia. That is a significant risk for tornadoes, possibly long-lived damaging tornadoes today. So it's just out of our viewing area where that tornado risk is pretty high. So again, damaging winds and is a moderate risk. Tornadoes, low risk. Hail, I'm going with a high risk for hail today because we're already seeing hail in some of these storms. In terms of flooding, I don't expect flooding in metro Atlanta, but down to the south of the city, once again, these areas that could see the strongest storms, LaGrange, Meriwether County, Pike, Lamar County, Upson County, you are under a flood watch through tomorrow afternoon. Okay, so it does look pretty bad. 3 to 6 p.m. That's when you need to have your First Alert Weather app ready to go. That's when you need to be tuned into the forecast. The evening commute certainly looks pretty gross. Now those storms move out, we get a brief break, and then we see some more rain overnight, especially south of the city. This next line that moves through looks much less severe, and it doesn't look as widespread either. Maybe a few overnight storms, but generally pretty dry through the majority of the day tomorrow. We'll only see about a 40% chance of afternoon thunderstorms tomorrow, and the severe risk is much lower tomorrow. So tonight, again, scattered storms through the overnight hours. Low risk of severe weather. Tomorrow, also a lower risk of severe weather, 40% coverage, so much lower coverage. And we just see improvements from there on out. Friday, Saturday look dry. We still have a first alert on Father's Day, although I am not convinced we're going to see storms. We've dropped the rain chances. It's continuing to trend in a drier direction, so if you do have Father's Day plans, you may actually end up being good to go. We may drop that first alert. However, Sunday night into Monday, Juneteenth holiday does look pretty stormy. Next week we get an upper level low developing. That's probably going to keep some scattered showers in our area through the week. Okay, guys, so just be aware this afternoon we are going to track that risk for severe weather, and we have our whole team here. We're going to have 3 meteorologists here at all times keeping you safe. So we got you covered with the latest. And Jen will be on in just about 30 minutes. We're getting 12Z data, which is a really important data run. We're getting that model data in right now, so she will have new information for you coming up at noon on Atlanta News First. All right, guys, I'll see you bright and early tomorrow morning.